One of the largest banks in Spain, BBVA, is expanding its partnership with Ripple through Ripple custody. We're going to get into what all of this means for banking in Europe. We're also going to talk about some additional information about Ripple and ODL. We also have some new information coming to light about the NASDAQ moving to the tokenization of the stock market, which we've been talking about for years on this channel. Let's go ahead and better understand what's going on here. So here is the BBVA account. As you can see, they have 2.3 million followers. It says, excited to take our collaboration with Ripple to the next level. This expansion allows us to leverage proven and trusted technology that meets the highest security and operational standards. So BBVA can directly provide end-to-end custody service to its customers. And if you click on this, it brings you to this document here that Ripple just put out. And it says Ripple expands footprint into Spain through new agreement with BBVA. Let's jump into this. The date is September 9th. Ripple, the leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions, today announced an agreement with BBVA to provide its digital asset custody technology to the Spanish bank. The move supports BBVA's recent announcement of its new crypto asset trading and custody service for Bitcoin and Ether, which has made it available to retail customers in Spain. Through this agreement, BBVA will leverage Ripple Custody, Ripple's institutional-grade digital asset self-custody technology, to deliver a scalable and secure custody service for tokenized assets, including crypto assets. Oh yes, sounds really nice. Now the EU's market in crypto regulation, also known as MiCA, is established across Europe. The region's banks are emboldened to launch the digital asset offerings that their customers are asking for, says Casey Croddick, Managing Director of Europe at Ripple. BBVA has long been one of the region's most innovative banks, and we're proud to support its ambitions with the most secure, compliant digital asset technology on the market. That is so spicy. I love it. Ripple's custody technology enables financial institutions like BBVA to confidently respond to customer demands for access to crypto and other digital assets while meeting scrutiny, strict security operationally, and regulatory requirements. BBVA has long demonstrated strong leadership in digitization and innovation, and the launch of our digital asset offerings in Spain follows earlier offerings in Switzerland and Turkey, said Francisco Morato, head of digital assets at BBVA. Ripple's custody solution allows us to leverage proven and trusted technology that meets the highest security and operational standards, allowing BBVA to directly provide end-to-end custody service to its customers. Through this agreement, we can deliver on our goal of supporting our customers and explore digital assets backed by the strength and the security of the bank like BBVA. This new agreement between Ripple and BBVA in Spain builds on a long-standing collaboration between the two companies. Ripple also provides custody technology to Garante BBVA and BBVA Switzerland. So this is a larger institution here across multiple countries, and Ripple is the chosen partner for their tokenization and custody solutions here. Now, really quickly, Ripple custody is different from Medico. When I first was learning about all of this stuff, I thought it was like the same company, but after doing research, I found out Medico and Ripple custody are actually different companies. Now, Ripple might have gotten some of that technology from Medico, but it's besides the point. It is two companies, and so they are both expanding their businesses globally, which I think is a very smart idea. And it just, Riz says 2.3 million followers, just highlighting the collaboration here. And then I wanted to get some additional information about this. Check this out. So BBVA to offer end-to-end crypto custody specifically for Bitcoin, Ethereum, directly to its retail customers using the banking app. BBVA currently has around 772 billion euros in total assets under management. Almost a trillion, just a little bit more. We'll get there. I believe they'll be there sooner or later. Of course, the expansion into Spain, BBVA will utilize Ripple custody, support Bitcoin ETH trading to secure storage for customers in Spain. And I mean, I would imagine once they're going to roll out more tokens, I would imagine this is going to be 5 or 10 or 20 or 30, 6 months from now. Regulatory compliance talks about this partnership is EU compliant. Ripple acquired Swiss custody for Medico in 2023, and its technology forms the backbone of the custody expansion for BBVA. What this means, major institutional adoption. The deal signals increased confidence among traditional European banks in offering crypto services fueled by MiCA's clarity. Now, what I also want you to think about is this. You are a competing bank against BBVA, and you're seeing them now offering these services to their customers. What do? You have two options. One, you throw in the towel and you just maybe are not going to be a bank in 5 or 10 years, or you start to grind out and you're like, hey, we need to offer these same services and quickly. How do you do that? Well, you can build this stuff out yourself, which is going to take at least a year or two, or you can go to Ripple or a company like Ripple, a blockchain infrastructure company, and get set up. It's going to force other banks to adopt this technology more quickly, and that's exactly what we are all looking for. Mass adoption on a global scale. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's do it. Also, on-demand liquidity is something that is also expanding. I saw this tweet here about on-demand liquidity, 40 payout markets, 90% lower fees per transactions, uptime 365, 24/7. This document was put together by Status. Here are some of the partners. Some of these names you're all familiar with. Some of them, maybe you're just learning about. There's Navati in here. You got FOMO Pay here. You have MSF Africa. A lot of Trangulos here, right? A lot of interesting companies we've talked about. SBI Remit is here. Xbot is here. And Lemonway. Lemonway is right here too. PayPal is here. A lot of really cool institutions, and they have a list additional stuff here. Just to give you some additional context on this, Ripple's on-demand liquidity is a global payment solution that uses XRP as a bridge asset to enable instant, low-cost cross-border settlement for banks and fintechs and payment processors with a rapidly expanding network of partners of 2025. Ripple on-demand liquidity partners in 2025. Ripple's on-demand liquidity ecosystem includes a mix of major banks, payment processors, and fintech providers and technology firms across 6 continents. The broader coverage, especially in emerging markets and corridors. Global banks onboarded include BNY Mellon, Canadian Imperial Bank and Commerce, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Industrial Bank, SEB in Sweden, SBI Holdings, SBI Remit, CM Commercial Bank in Thailand, and so much more. Remittance payment giants like MoneyGram, BTech, InstaRem, ZipRemit, AirWallets, iRemit, TransferGo, Currencies Direct, and Lian Pay have adopted on-demand liquidity for settlement. Now, chances are, if you live abroad and you have sent money back home, you have often looked for cheaper solutions, and chances are you probably have dealt with one of these companies. If you have and you want to share your story and how that was, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to better understand if you liked it, if it was helpful, if you saved money, if it was quick, right? Let me know. Ripple's institutional expansion includes new partnerships and acquisitions, such as pending purchase of Hidden Road, FX liquidity operations, yada, yada, yada. Major payment hubs in Africa, South America, Asia, Europe, Middle East are now alive with on-demand liquidity settlements. You notice something here? America, Canada, South America, Middle East, you got Japan on there, you got Africa, you have Europe. You notice that we're starting to cover the entire globe, right? Australia, everywhere. 90% of the FX market Ripple covers as well. It's places that SWIFT was unable to provide help to. For 50 years, Ripple said, you know what? We'll solve that problem. SWIFT, you have an unlimited amount of money. You're the strongest payment provider in the entire world, and you couldn't solve this problem in 50 years, but we solved it in under a decade. How does that make you feel, SWIFT? Spicy. Settlements occur, of course, 24/7, 365 compared to traditional systems like SWIFT. SWIFT has sped up their services, their messaging service with SWIFT GPI. Don't get me wrong. Most of the transactions either happen in the hour or they happen within the same day. It's like 90% of payments happen within an hour of the same day, but it still comes with a nice big cost, right? And that is a problem, because if we're talking about speeding up payments or whatever settlement, and you're looking at an hour with SWIFT or you're looking at a few minutes with Ripple, I know it's a few seconds, but when you're doing a bank transactions, it doesn't all happen in seconds. It usually takes, anywhere from a few minutes, okay? If you're talking about lowering the time to do that, great. But now we're talking about the cost as well. So why would you still continue to use SWIFT if it's 60 or 80% more expensive? You would obviously use something cheaper because more profits for the bank, and you can lower, the fees that you charge customers, which makes customers happy, and banks stay in power because they make their customers happy. All right. And then Ripple claims on-demand liquidity lowers transaction fees up to 90%. It's 90% slashes settlement from days to 4 minutes, and it has processes 1.3 trillion in quarter to 2025 alone. Crazy stuff. NASDAQ files SECs to tokenize stocks. This is from Deanna Community Post. XRP Ledger could be the dark horse. Wall Street's crown jewel just told the SEC it wants to trade tokenized stocks side by side with normal shares. If approved, this rewires the financial system by 2026, and XRP may quietly be at the center. The shock move. NASDAQ, home of Apple, Tesla, Amazon, filed to put stocks on blockchain. Some rights, dividends, voting, some order book, no split markets, settlement via blockchain rails, and full SEC compliance. This is also something that we've been talking about on the channel since the channel started, right? Moving the stock market onto blockchain blockchain. Now, the question is, do you do it a little bit at a time, or do you just do the whole thing at once? That is going to be the question that I am most interested in understanding. Why the earth is shaking today. Stock traders, 2 days to settle. Tomorrow, blockchain in seconds. Faster liquidity, fewer errors and fraud. Trade 5 plus blockchain in one system. This isn't hype. This is Wall Street going on chain. Enter Ripple. The filing doesn't name Ripple, but FX Empire reports NASDAQ are in talks with Ripple on digital asset infrastructure. And who has rails built exactly for this? XRP, fast, cheap, compliant, tested. Why XRP fits like a glove, 3 to 5 second settlement, negligible fees, proven in tokenization pilots, 10 years of uptime, enterprise grade transparency. This is the transformation Wall Street actually needs, not meme coin chains. I think that's a hit at Solana. The XRP angle, if NASDAQ pipes trades into XRP, those tokenized stocks need a liquidity bridge. That bridge is XRP. We're not talking about retail flows anymore. We're talking about trillions in equities potentially running through a chain built for settlement. Signs were there. This isn't random. NASDAQ already includes XRP in its crypto indices. ETPs and XRP are live in Europe. Ripple has been stacking banks and payment deals globally. Now NASDAQ is finally lighting the fuse. Bigger picture, NASDAQ tokenization equals Wall Street's biggest blockchain step ever. Ripple plus XRP ledger equals rails built for institutions. Put them together. Markets don't trade crypto. They become crypto settled. It says bottom line, NASDAQ wants tokenized stocks. Ripple has the rails. Even without a press release, the convergence is obvious. So they're saying that, in fact, this is Ripple and XRP. Of course, we're still going to need official confirmation. We can all hope and pray, but we really don't have the official word just yet. One of the biggest crypto's lingering questions, how did Vitalik end up with sleeping on Ripple's CTO couch? I thought this was interesting.
And then Ripple also had smart contracts for a little bit. Their former CTO had something called Codias, and had they fully embraced that, they would have been a very dominant stablecoin DeFi ledger. And they also had the nice connection to the banking world, so they would have been a natural target for stablecoins to be issued from. Both of them misstepped. The NXT community had a bad distribution, and they had infighting, which broke them into Crypti and Lisk and Wave and Forex and all these other ventures. In the case of Ripple, they just abandoned smart contracts early in the days. And because of that, it opened a window for Ethereum to basically come and achieve.
Interesting. Do you think Vitalik Buterin got a lot of the ideas for Ethereum from Ripple? I kind of felt like that, right? My man was hanging out on the couch at one of the lead devs for Ripple, absorbing all of the information, and then he goes to build Ethereum. Very questionable, if you ask me. Here's Black Swan capitalist Verson. It should come as no surprise that BRICS won't adopt stablecoins. Documents from central banks like Russia, India, Brazil, China, and New Development Bank confirm that they're building on the XRP ledger network for years. This has been in motion for years, he is saying. He links this post. Turns out Russia's central bank, a BRICS institution, has been working with Ripple since 2018 to build cross-border settlements using the XRP ledger to bridge fiat transfers. Now, the issue here is that Russia cannot work with Ripple currently due to all of the issues that have been going on with Russia and Ukraine. And I don't want to get into that on this video. This is not about that. So like, can Russia build on the XRP ledger itself? Yes, but they cannot work with Ripple at this point. I'm not sure if Verson understands that. I'm sure he does, though. He's a pretty smart guy. But I just wanted to point that out to you because that is like a red light going off in my head. All right, so we kind of read through this. Interesting. It would seem like a project like mBridge is leveraging the XRP ledger. Now, there's a lot of people that say mBridge is the XRP ledger. And then, you actually research it. This is another video. We'll dig into that research together. Foreign and Russian experience on blockchain digitization for central banks, finance, and technology. This was the Atlanta Press. I've seen this document 100 times. They're just kind of pointing out. But right now, in the way the situation is, Russia's not going to be able to do anything. Rob Cunningham has a post here talking about in Ripple in a nutshell. Project Keystone is building the plumbing and dashboards for a richer, harmonized ISO 20022 payments infrastructure. Exactly the rails that support XRP. As central banks and systems adopt Keystone, Ripple gains strategic clarity, trust, and interoperability, potentially boosting its global prominence in the financial messaging ecosystem. What is BIS Project Keystone? Project Keystone is an initiative by the Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub, London, in partnership with the Bank of England, unveiled in early September 2025. Its mission is to create a standardized off-the-shelf data analytics platform that payment system operators, example are central banks and real-time gross settlement systems, can seamlessly adopt. This is like chips, and this is Fedwire, and these real-time gross settlement systems all around the world, can seamlessly adopt. It aims to manage the complexities of ISO 20022, the global financing messaging standard, by handling intricate infinite data structures and storage needs, delivering analytic modules for real-time insights. Key capabilities include liquidity dashboards showing intraday flows and outflows and stress indicators, network risk maps, highlighting transactional nodes and interconnectedness, purpose code analytics, tracking economic activity, housing, payments, spending trends, fraud indicators, analyzing return funds, messaging with fraud tags. Crucially, these dashboards are designed to be privacy preserving. They can strip out personal data while offering macro level financial insights, harmonizing different implementations of ISO across jurisdictions. And here is that information. That was a jam-packed video, guys. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're having a fantastic week. It's such an honor to spend this time with you. Thank you. Aloha. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.